What's up, guys? AYB here. I make videos about automation and how to implement AI in your business where it can save you both time and money. So today we'll be looking at a very chill workflow, and the way it works is that based on your input in your form, let's say you have a form that is like this right here. You have something like based on your input on your form, it will route you to go through different parts and send different emails like this. Talking about something like this. So we have based on the form submission that you can see right here. Um, zoom out, so you can see it. Based on the form, then we have the lead source from the social media and other source. And based on the social media includes Facebook, Discord, YouTube, Telegram, and the other source include this webinar and website. So they're going to get email based on the choices they make there. So the first email they will get is something like this, right? If they choose something that is related to the social media, and the one they will get if they choose something that is related to other will be like this. So the only possibility that's only possible if we use Path by Zapier. Path by Zapier is actually one of the app that one of the built-in app Zapier offers that allows you to set conditions and allow data to flow based on those conditions. Like what I set up here. If you take a look at what I set up here, I said based on the condition I said if this particular response that is set in the form, this particular response is if this particular response contains the word Telegram, or it contains the word Discord, or it contains the word YouTube, or it contains the word coming, or it contains the word Facebook, then it will allow this data to go through. But if it does not contain any of those words, if it contains, I set another condition saying that if the the this particular response contains website or it contains webinar, then it should go through this part. So this the form respondents will actually get would get emails based on the form that they choose. So let's see if you can set up something like that. So if you set it, the first thing you do is set up your, so you add something like your form. It might be just form or any of the forms, but I like using just form because it's quite has an um has an interface that is actually very appealing. So we have this just form here. I have created the form. I'm just going to link the form right here. Not this is not it. Using submission, new submission. Then form I'm using is the website lead form, right? That's the form I'm using. The next thing I want to do is I continue to the next stage. I test the form. I already have used the response, so I'll just use my previous response and continue with it, right? And the next thing I want to do is that I want to record this particular stuff on a Google Sheet. So I'm going to create a Google Sheet right now so that I can record it on my Google Sheet right here. So I'm going to create a spreadsheet. I'll just call it. So I'll call the spreadsheet. Let's give it a quiet name. Let's call it YouTube tutorial. So I'm using this spreadsheet as my mini CRM to just um for YouTube CRM. Okay, so I have that, and then I want to include the fields that are on the form. So we have the name, email address, the company. How did you hear about us is actually the lead source, and then how can we help you use the service that we want to help them with. So that's exactly the equivalent of that in our own database. So we can just include that by putting the name, email address. Then we can have the company, and then, like I said, we can have the lead source, and then we can have service needed. So, like what you just have here is just a database of um, each record that is submitted. So, and I want to add this database before I route the leads into different workflows. So that's exactly what I want to do right now. So next I want to do is I want to choose the so once they have submitted the form, I want them to get populated on the spreadsheet. So what I want to do right now is to create spreadsheet role. I create spreadsheet role. I continue right here, and my drive is my Google Drive. The spreadsheet, like I said, will be YouTube. You can see YouTube CRM. That will be the name of the spreadsheet, right? And this worksheet will be sheet one. That will be the worksheet that we're working on right here. So sheet one. Then you see the fields, and then all we need to do is just map the fields according to the fields on the form. So the name will be on the name field here. The email also fall on the email field here. The company fall on the see the company here, Eric Consulting also fall here, right? And the lead source, although it has a different name on the form, which is how did you hear about us? But we understand that that means the lead source. How did you hear about us? And then the service needed is how can we help you? So we can have that also included in our database, so we can know how we are getting leads. No, that's not it. Uh, so we continue, and I will skip this test. I'm not So the next thing we want to do is that we want to create the logic that will route these leads based on their response, the response they chose on the form. So what we'll do right now is we're going to use a feature called Path by Zapier. Path by Zapier is just more of like a sophisticated version of filter. Filter just allow leads to pass through based on if they meet the condition or not. Or path allows to pass through based on if the condition based on in the case of filter, the leads are actually filtered. Some are allowed to pass through while some just stay afloat. But meanwhile, in the path, they are allowed to go through different paths. So we have path A, path B. So let's rename this path A as something like let's call it social media. Let's call it social media leads, right? So we can call this social media leads, and we can call these guys our can just call other leads. Right, so we can know how many, so we can double down on uh, our campaigns. We can know which particular channel is actually giving us much more leads. So this is exactly where we are going to set the condition, and the condition we are going to set is based on the fact that base we want to include Facebook, Discord, YouTube, and Telegram in this condition. And what we are saying is that if any of the response they choose equals to any of that particular value, then they will pass through this path. So the way we do that is that we choose we say only continue if if how did you hear about us, yeah, contains the word telegram, right? Telegram. And we are not going to add and, because if we use and as an operator in this logic, what it does is that it's actually the two conditions will be fulfilled for this particular lead to go down this path. But we don't want it to be like that. We want it to be like, okay, any of the conditions can actually be fulfilled. And that's why they'll go through this. So instead of using and, we are going to use the or rule. So we are going to say, okay, if even if you're not, if it's not Telegram you choose, if you choose YouTube, you're also allowed to go through this route. So we can just say submission if RDG about us contains, let's say, contains the word YouTube, right? And then we can also add another rule that says if RDG about us, same thing, just doing it four different times. RDG about us contains, right, Discord, right, and then we can also add it again. And we say audio about us contains, I think is, we've done Discord, we've done YouTube, we've done Telegram. I think the last one is Facebook. So audio about us um, contains, you can see Facebook, right? So now we have set the condition for this particular part. So we can continue right now to test the step. So it actually didn't match the response the person chose from the form, didn't match this particular condition, so they will not go through this path. We are still going to test this particular path. So now the email we want them to get is like, okay, welcome to our social media family or something like that. So we are going to say send them an email once they have gotten something like this, once they choose that particular option on our form field. So I don't want to send it to a random person to avoid them blocking my sender's integrity. So I'll just send it to myself at gmail.com. So let's the form name. So let's call this form name Spark AI, right? And then the subject, let's say welcome. I can just say welcome to our social media family, right? It would be nice if you can add an emoji here. So let me see if I can get an emoji. Let's see if we can add something like this brown emoji. I just add this brown emoji, and then we can put an hyphen, we can put Spark AI. So that's it. And then we can set up the um particular message you want them to get. So we can put hello, and then we can add their first name to make it much more personal. You can get that particular their first name from the form response they choose. You can say hello Eric, add add that. You can put a comma. I actually use ChatGPT to generate a particular response. I can just copy it right here, and then you can put it right here. So we have this. Okay, so we have this particular setup, particular email setup, and then I can include particular inbox I want to get it. I want it to be in my inbox right now. So we are all set. So if they choose any of the response of YouTube, any of the social media option that we choose, they'll get something like this. Remember, please remember, we are using the brown love emoji as like social media option, right? So we use another emoji for the other option. Nope, I want it to be my inbox. So we've taken care of that part. So the next thing I want to do is that there's a hack here. I don't want to repeat this process again because it's actually daunting. So what I'll do is just duplicate this step. I'll duplicate this step right here, and then I will drag it right here. So I don't have to repeat the same process I did right now. All I need to just tweak some particular things there. And so the next thing I want to do before I set the email, I want to set the condition. Remember, we want some guys to actually go down this path, and the guys that want to go down this path are people that actually chose websites and webinar. So we're going to say if the form, if the how did you hear about us contains contains the word webinar, then you should go this part. Or if uh, how did you hear about us contains um how did you hear about us contains websites, right? Then you should go this part also. So websites. So we can test this particular workflow right now. Should be green. That is because the response the person chose was actually to match this particular item. So the next thing I want to do is to set up the particular email they get. First, before I can do that, I want to remove this copy option here. So the next thing I want to do is to configure the email they will get, right? So I still want to send it to myself, or like the name is still the same, but there's one thing we want to do. We don't want to include this social media because they are not. We can just say welcome to our family, and then we remove this particular brown emoji and add more of like a let's add more of like a black emoji, right? So let's add a red emoji. Remember, we use the brown emoji for the social media, and then we are using the red emoji for the website and the webinar, right? So you can just add it. Welcome to our family, black emoji. So what we do is that we have set everything. Remember, it's the same content of the form, but we just want to let them get different. We can also change the content of this message, right, based on whatever you like. But I just want to leave it like this. But I just want to show you that you can send two different messages to or emails to people based on the response they chose in the form, and it's possible through Path by Zapier. So if I continue this step right now, it's telling me to test this step, right? I'm going to skip test, and then I'm going to skip test also. So now I can publish this app. But there's one thing I want to do is because I want to turn off this particular Zapier because I have done the setup here, so we don't want it interfering with our new setup. So we can just call this particular workflow our lead lead source workflow. Can add can add can put new there. Yeah, so we can publish this app. So what we want to do right now is to test this particular option. We are going to do two things. We're going to choose an option that says that any of the social media outlet channel, and then we are going to choose another option um that chooses any of the other channel like the webinar and the website. So before then, I want to delete some emails that might really interfere in what we are trying to find out here. So right now, so we are chill. So the next thing I want to do is to fill the form, right? So let's look at the form and see the response we are going to get. So let's call this guy um, um Let's call Oli. Now these names are just, I don't know if it's real name, but I'm just, so they're not real actually. So I'm using my email. I don't want to use a different email. Okay. So let's call this Oli LLC, right? That's the name of their company. And now remember we said you want to choose something that is really in line with the social media, right? You're choosing Facebook, and this does not really matter. So you submit the form, right? So the kind of email we're expecting is the email with the brown emoji, right, as the subject. Okay, so we're going to wait. Then something's going to happen. Now, can you see? We get the email with the brown emoji. That means the these are the social media guys. So let's choose another option, right? Let's choose something that is in line with the other channel. So let's call this guy um Faith, right? Or Kate. Let's call her Kate. Kate Kate Henderson. Sorry about that. Henderson. So let's leave the email like that, and let's say she runs a company called Henderson Rentals, right? And now, instead of the social media, they got to know us through the webinar, right? And they're just interested in our pipe driving competition. Now we are going to get the black emoji. Why? Because we chose something that's in line with the other channel. So we check back right now. We're going to see another, yeah, the red emoji, I mean. So you see that this is quite different from what we got earlier. So that is exactly how to use Path by Zapier to set up to make lead go through different routes. So if you like, and then if you actually gain so much value from it, just like and subscribe. See you guys at that time.